Hey guys, JH, welcome to the practice tee. Okay. A test session today. Got the new Cobra Forge Tech tour blades with the KBSC taper light. 110 gram. Man, they're solid, but they feel great. Okay, first off guys, just want to for one of the guys, somebody's asked me about the Mo Norman shoulder turn and some details on it, intricacies of it as such. Well, there's not a lot to it guys, but but essentially, because Mo was in this position here, his shoulder turn is, and his back is fairly, even though his legs are extended, his back is reasonably upright. I mean, he's not over here like this, although he looks like that. So his shoulder turn is like all good shoulder turns should be, in that it's perpendicular to his spine. I mean, if I stand here like this and I've got my club here and I'm perfectly upright, I just turn my shoulders, they go there. If I change my back angle, the club looks like it's more upright, but it's still exactly the same relationship between the arm, the lead arm and the shoulder girdle. And I think that's what most people should endeavour to do. I mean, we saw Nick Faldo at 6'4" in his heyday, swinging the club with the shaft on the point of his right shoulder. So everybody said, Nick is a big guy, should swing upright. Well, he didn't. He swung it on the point of his right shoulder here. So Nick, here. And that's because he didn't manipulate the arm up and down. And of course, Mo doesn't do that. Because Mo's in this position here, he basically just turns that left shoulder away, joined up to the lead shoulder girdle, or part of the shoulder girdle, and it just goes there. It's not, the left knee might bend in a little bit. It's only to just tilt the spine a little bit. It just basically, people think that Mo swung the club with, rigid legs like that, but he didn't. He looked stiff and rigid, but he didn't do that. What he did was, as he went here, this left knee, it gave a little bit, and of course that allowed the hip girdle to pitch a little bit, and of course the shoulder moves that way a little bit. But the main thing in Mo's backswing, which incorporates his shoulder turn, is the fact that he never moved his head. He had the most positioned head of anyone that's ever swung the club. It's almost like there was a steel plate here, and I use that descriptive sometimes, in that he just turned away from that head like that. And that's how he got his torque, and why even at 64 years old or 65 years old had a club head speed of 107 miles an hour, because he had a lot of torque in his golf swing off a very short shoulder turn base. Okay, Mo's shoulder turn is not massive. It's good. It's there. Left shoulder probably, close to 90 degrees, and right shoulder probably 70 degrees. So there was a little bit of dunching in the shoulders, in that the trail shoulder got closer to the lead shoulder. It wasn't this, as we see with big shoulder turns. We get the lead shoulder here and the trail shoulder going way over here. Mo didn't do that. So the shoulder turn, in essence, was, quite in conjunction with clearly with his arms. I mean, he didn't have his arms going this way and his shoulders going that way. He had them basically all on the same plane. And he turned his left shoulder, or his lead shoulder, as far as he could, and just let his right or trail shoulder take care of itself. Whatever it wanted to do, it just ended up doing. but he certainly didn't whip that right shoulder around there. And I said to Mo, when I first met him, you know, Mo, if you want to hit it another, 20 yards, if you want to let out, let the dog eat, big dog eat, what do you do? He said, I just turn more. I just endeavour to turn more. I try to turn more. So by trying to turn more, he gets more torque, clearly. So that's all it is. You're just getting more torque by turning more, just winding this up a little bit more. And it may only be, a couple of degrees, but that will be enough to up the swing speed. So to capsulise and to just put it in a box, so to speak, a Mo's shoulder turn is probably 88 degrees, 87 degrees left shoulder, maybe get to 90 degrees sometimes. Right shoulder only about 75 degrees. He certainly doesn't pull the right shoulder or the trail shoulder back around like that. But the main thing is that he just turns that shoulder up to his chin. If you watch him, he makes a very, very beautiful shoulder progression up to the side of his head. Because the head doesn't go anywhere. The head's not getting away from the shoulder, it's captive here, so the shoulder comes from there to the chin, or to the side of the face, here. Because this is not going anywhere. You move this away over here, very hard to get the shoulder across to the head. And of course it upsets the geometry. The one thing that Mo had better than anyone else was that his geometry was so consistent, and that's why he was such an accurate striker and hit the ball in the same place in the club all the time. Because this centre of the axis for him didn't move. Not one bit. Probably the steadiest head in the game. Okay, it might move up a little bit vertically, but up and down never bothers you. It's only backward and forward that will affect the consistency of the swing arc back to the ball. That's the only thing that'll happen there. Yeah, so he concentrated clearly on the lead shoulder, took it there as far as it was comfortable to do. And of course, guys, what people don't realise, when you see Mo over the ball, and this is very important for the shoulder girdle, he wasn't really tight in the shoulders. He looks like it, but he's not, I promise you. He was very, very soft here. Everywhere from the grip up, he was soft. And that's why he could make that type of backswing every time, because there was no rigidity in it. So you've got to really soften up your shoulder girdle, your chest, the back of your neck, all that part of the body, and just let the shoulders feel very loose and relaxed when you turn away like that. Yeah. And of course, because Mo took the trail arm just around the body like that tended to take the right shoulder back. Now, plenty of times when he turned his right shoulder a fair way around, but most of the time it didn't go as far as he certainly with the driver it got around there, because he had a lot of coil. So that's about as specific as I can be about the intricacies of the shoulder turn. The main thing is that it's a soft shoulder turn. It's not a dip shoulder turn. It's not a lift shoulder turn. It's just basically around the base of the neck, the top of the spine, and it's a soft turn. Keep those shoulders really soft. Just push it there. Just keep everything soft to there. Yeah, so buddy, that's all I can tell you about the shoulder turn. Basically the stance and the shoulder will take care of itself. Will take care of the shoulder girdle. But don't lift the shoulder up. Don't be too rigid with the legs. Just make sure the legs are nice and soft so that they can actually break a little bit in there. Because if that left leg, I was digressing a little bit, but if that lead leg stays there like that, which people think Mo did, Mo didn't do that. Mo just let that left leg bend in there, and that tilts the hip girdle the way it should, which gives you that type of body process motion on the backswing. Okay, that's about all I can tell you about the shoulder turn in in Mount Norman Swing. I hope that helped.